How's it going, guys? Andy here and welcome back to another video. Today, can you guess what we're talking about? It's Golden Pothos. Yes, you may have guessed I'm holding a couple of pots. Actually, there's not one, there's two pots here of Golden Pothos, which is something I love. I just love this plant. I think it's super cool, and I thought I'd do a bit of a species guide for you today, and just at the start of a project that I wanted to take you along with me and share, because what I want to do is make a big Golden Pothos plant, and I want to use these, so that's why I bought two of them from my local garden centre. Interestingly, this one has grown a lot better than this one. Now this one has stayed in the potting shed. You may have seen it on other videos. It's been up there on one of my shelves, and it gets pretty warm in here, to be fair, and there's windows either side, but this one has been up in my office on top of my filing cabinet, and it seems to have enjoyed that position a lot better and has put out a lot more of these additional leaves, which is pretty cool. So let's get into this video about the Golden Pothos. I'm going to tell you why I love it and a bit of care tips while we're here. So this is the Golden Pothos. Let me just put one of these down so it's a little bit easier to hold. So this is actually a climbing plant. A lot of people keep these and will have them trailing, and people think it's a trailing plant, but actually in its natural environment, if you put it up against something, I don't know if you can see this, but let me see if I can get the camera to focus. Along the backs here, you'll see, like you have on ivy, it puts out these little tendrils and they will grip onto things and will climb up. So yeah, it is actually a climbing plant, but does look very beautiful as a trailing plant. It will put out, if you can see this, it'll put out these vines, and they will keep going down and down and down, and you get a very attractive look. And I love these lime green leaves as well. I think they're beautiful, a really fresh color. And I've got a spot in my office that I want to have a hanging plant, and for a while I've wanted a Golden Pothos to put there, never got around to it. My local garden centre had them in. I thought, right, I'm grabbing a few. I want to make a nice big feature plant for my office that I can look at every day and really enjoy. So these are quite easy to look after. They're quite voracious growers, and they reproduce very easily as well. You can cut these runners off, put them back into the pot, and they'll grow more and more vigorous, and you can grow bigger plants that way, which is really cool. So you can just buy one pot like this, put it in a bigger pot, and keep adding these offcuts, and that will stimulate more growth, and so you can end up with a really big one, or just keep it like this if you want to have it a slightly more compact plant. Now, bearing in mind, like a lot of plants, if you just let them grow and grow and grow, the internodal length, the distance between the leaves, will get longer and longer if you leave them. If you cut them back, it will become more dense, and you'll get more leaves for the vines that come out. But that pretty much applies to most plants. Box hedging, for example, the more you clip it, the tighter the growth is, because it backbuds, and that is the case with a lot of things. So if you don't mind a really long leggy tendrils coming down, then you can just let it grow out and do its thing. But if you're looking at yours and you think it's looking a bit leggy, then you can trim these off and it will tighten up the growth a bit better. So just something to think about. If you're growing these, you can basically sculpt them how you want them. In terms of care tips, they're pretty easy. The only thing, like a lot of plants, don't like direct sunlight, so try and keep out. You can put them near a window, but as long as you don't get any harsh sun coming in, it's going to burn these leaves, so you need to avoid that. They'll take a reasonable amount of shade. Well, they will tolerate a reasonable amount of shade. If you can find a well-lit area, then it's going to prefer that, and you'll get lots of nice new growth from it. So like I said, they make good trailing plants. You can grow them up. I'm still going to find a position to maybe have one growing up. I don't know if you can see over here in the top left hand corner, I'm considering putting one in the corner there and growing it all the way up here, which would be pretty cool to have in the background. I don't know if there's enough light, probably, because behind the camera here there is 1, 2, 3, 4 windows, although the sun doesn't directly shine in on them throughout the day, so it might be all right. I'm going to experiment with this. I'll probably take some cuttings from this in another few months once this is really established and create another plant out of this one, and I'll show you that process. It's really simple when I do it, and I'll share that with you. Make sure you're subscribed to see that video when it comes out. But yeah, I'm going to probably experiment with a climbing version of this, but these two together I'm going to put in a bigger pot, put them together and make a really nice hanging display. The only thing they don't like in terms of watering, they don't want to be kept too wet. So this is another plant that will benefit from just letting it dry out a little bit before you water it again. It's much better to thoroughly water a plant and then leave it to dry out a bit than giving it a little bit constantly. So this is definitely that type of plant. Give it a good water and then leave it. Keep an eye on it, but generally you can leave it quite a while depending on the heat in your house. But just check the soil, put your finger in the pot there and see how it feels. And if you can let the first inch or so of soil dry out a little bit, then this plant will appreciate it. It's just that type of plant that doesn't like to sit in wet soil. So if you're regularly watering your plants every week, maybe miss this one out occasionally. Just check it. If it's still moist, leave it till next week. It'll be perfectly fine. In fact, it'll thank you for it. So that's pretty much it for these two. I just wanted to introduce you to the Golden Pothos, give you a bit of a species guide. If you can get your hands on these, they're readily available at your local garden centres. I'll put a link to where you can get some online. I think they're great. They brighten up the corner of any room, and they're quite versatile and reasonably easy to keep as well. So if you like the look of these, why don't you give it a go for yourself? You can be quite creative with them, and I will show you when I found a nice hanging pot for these. I'll hang them up in my office and I'll show you what they look like. But I just wanted to share with you the beginning of my project with these Golden Pothos. I really enjoy them. I think they're beautiful leaf shapes and a beautiful colour, and I'm certainly going to enjoy getting these in a pot and looking at them in the future. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you've liked it or found something useful. Please subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you very soon on another video. Bye for now.